Before we begin, understand this clearly. Many men lose respect, influence, and even attraction without really knowing why. It is not always because they lack value. It is not always because they do not try hard enough. Very often, the real problem is deeper. It is hidden in their presence, in the way they handle pressure, and in their need for validation. This is where many people get it wrong. They think everything depends on words, compliments, attention, or the image they try to project. But in reality, people first respond to your inner state. They feel your stability before they listen to your words. They feel your calm before they believe in your strength. They feel your discipline before they respect your direction. And this is not only about relationships between men and women. It is also about life, leadership, business, friendship, and personal growth. In every area, people react first to your energy, to your self-control, and to the direction your life reflects. If you do not understand this, you can lose many opportunities without even knowing what really happened. In this video, we are going to explore 3 deep truths. These truths will help you understand human nature better. But even more importantly, they will help you master yourself. There is one reality that most men feel, but very few have the courage to admit. You can try hard. You can make an effort. You can show interest. You can try to impress her. You can prove your worth. And still, at some point, something changes. The messages take longer. The attention fades. The distance begins. Most men think they did something wrong. But in many cases, that is not the real reason. What happened is often more invisible than that. Without realizing it, they broke silent rules that shape female attraction. These rules are not found in books. They are older than logic. They live in instinct. They are automatic. They are unconscious. They are deeply rooted in human nature. Before a woman responds to your words, she responds to your stability. She responds to how you handle pressure. She responds to the direction of your life. She responds to your emotional strength. Not to your compliments. Not to your effort alone. Many men believe that kindness, consistency, and attention create attraction. But real attraction works on a deeper level. Before she truly listens to what you say, she feels who you are. She feels whether you trust yourself. She feels whether you are emotionally in control. And this is exactly where most men fail. They try to convince. They try to explain. They try to prove their value through constant effort. But female attraction does not respond to logic. It does not respond to persuasion. It responds to presence. It responds to stability. It responds to emotional resilience. When you understand this, everything changes. You stop chasing reactions. You stop trying to force outcomes. And almost naturally, you begin to influence how she feels around you. Long ago, powerful thinkers already understood this principle. Influence never comes from neediness. It comes from perception. It comes from timing. It comes from calm presence. Women recognize strength even when it is not openly displayed. They feel it, even when they cannot explain it. In this text, you will discover 3 powerful truths about female nature. These truths can change the way women see you. They can also change the way you understand them. The first truth is this: silent presence has power. From the first moment a woman notices you, something begins to happen in her mind. An impression starts to form. And it happens long before you say a single word. She does not first judge your jokes. She does not first judge your clever sentences. She does not first judge your attempt to impress her. What she notices first is more subtle. She feels your energy. She feels your self-trust. She feels your stability. These first impressions are silent. They are almost invisible. But they have enormous influence. Most men ignore this process. They believe they must be extremely interesting. So they try too hard. They explain too much. They answer too fast. They try to prove they are good enough. But every one of these actions sends a clear signal. Neediness. What matters is not only what you say. What matters is the emotion behind your behavior. If your body language, your tone of voice, or your reactions show that you are looking for approval, she notices it. And instinctively, attraction drops. That is why presence matters more than words. Your attitude matters. Your calm matters. The way you occupy space matters. All of it sends a message. If you enter a room without haste, without fear, and without trying to force attention, you communicate something rare. Independence. Self-sufficiency. Inner certainty. You seem like someone who exists in his own world. Someone who is not dependent on the approval of others. And that awakens something powerful. Curiosity. People are naturally drawn to what they cannot fully predict or control. A quiet and self-confident presence activates this mechanism. At the center of this principle is emotional neutrality. Emotional neutrality does not mean being cold. It means having control over your inner state. No matter what happens around you, you do not react impulsively. You do not chase validation. You observe first. Then you respond with intention. Every controlled reaction strengthens the impression of strength. Every moment when you do not let emotions carry you away adds to that image. Take a simple example. A message. She takes longer than expected to reply. Many men become uneasy. They send another message. They try to explain themselves. They apologize for things that never happened. This behavior signals urgency. And urgency signals neediness. She feels it instinctively. But if you remain calm and continue focusing on your own life, you communicate something much stronger. You show that you are comfortable in your own world. You show that you do not depend on outside validation. That silence creates attraction in a natural way. The same thing happens in face-to-face interaction. Many men feel the need to fill every silence. They talk too much. They joke too much. They explain unnecessary things. They believe that if silence appears, interest is disappearing too. But silence is one of the strongest tools of presence. Used well, silence communicates emotional stability. A man who is truly confident does not feel the need to fill every second with words. He allows pauses. He observes. He speaks when there is something real to say. And that changes the whole dynamic. Strategic pauses matter. Quiet answers matter. Carefully chosen words matter. All of this makes your presence stronger than your effort. The less you try to impress, the more authority you seem to have. She notices something important. You are not trying to win approval. And that alone creates attention. Body language also plays a major role. Your posture. Your breathing. Your eye contact. Your gestures. All of this communicates far more than words. A man who stands upright, with an open chest, calm movements, and controlled breathing communicates confidence and control. Even small details matter. A relaxed face. A steady gaze. Intentional gestures. These things create a feeling of safety. Now compare that with the opposite. Fast movements. Nervous smiling. Restless eyes. Constant agitation. Even if the words sound confident, the body reveals the truth. And women notice it. It is important to understand this clearly. Women do not always analyze these signs consciously. They do not sit there making rational calculations. But their instincts recognize the signals. Human evolution trained the mind to respond to stability, self-confidence, emotional control, and psychological strength. Historically, these traits suggested reliability. This is why many men get confused. They are kind. They are attentive. They are interesting. Yet her interest still disappears. What they do not realize is that the decision was often made in seconds, long before the conversation truly began. That is why invisible presence must be practiced. Train yourself to stay calm in all situations. Watch your posture. Control your breathing. Reduce unnecessary movements. Observe before reacting. Speak with intention. And speak only when it is necessary. Resist the urge to impress. Resist the urge to explain too much. Do not rush to fill every silence. Every small adjustment to your presence increases your natural magnetism. A man who understands this becomes difficult to ignore. He does not seek approval. He does not compete for attention. He does not depend on too many words. His energy quietly communicates his value. Women notice this deeply. Curiosity begins to grow. And without realizing it, you stop only reacting to situations. You begin to shape how people perceive you. Your presence starts to communicate strength, stability, confidence, long before a word is spoken. In the end, it all comes down to one decisive ability: self-control. You cannot control how she reacts, but you can control your inner state. When you become calm inside, and when you radiate quiet strength, you deeply influence how your presence is experienced. And that becomes the foundation of attraction. It is invisible, but it is powerful. When a man embodies this, something changes. He stops worrying about the perfect words. He stops trying so hard to impress. His presence is already communicating authority, value, and control. And when that happens, every interaction moves to a different level. But there is another deeper mechanism that many men miss. Sometimes, when a woman teases you, jokes with you, or makes a harmless comment, something specific is happening. She is testing your emotional strength. This is the second truth. Women instinctively test emotional strength. Women often judge men in subtle ways. Long before they consciously decide whether they are attracted, small invisible tests appear. These tests rarely look like tests. They do not usually come as open confrontation. They show up in simple moments. A slight provocation. A joke. A disagreement. A surprising comment. A short silence. In those moments, something important is happening. She is watching how you react under emotional pressure. Do you stay calm, or do you lose control? Do you respond with grounded confidence, or do you rush to justify yourself? Most men fail these tests without even noticing them. The moment they feel challenged, they react. They explain. They defend themselves. They justify their actions. Even if their arguments are logical, they still send another signal. Insecurity. Neediness. Emotional instability. She may not think he seems insecure, but something inside her registers the signal. And little by little, attraction fades. The way to pass these tests is easier than many think. It does not require arguments. It does not require long explanations. It requires calmness. Real calmness is more than staying quiet. It is the ability to observe without reacting immediately. It is the ability to answer with intention. It is the ability to show quiet strength without trying to prove anything. If a woman tests you, it is not always a problem. It can be an opportunity. In those moments, your reaction matters more than what she actually said. Every small test gives you a chance to show that you are stable, centered, and in control of yourself. To apply this well, focus on 3 things: your voice, your body language, your responses. Your voice should be calm and deliberate. Speak clearly. Do not rush. Do not over-explain. Men who speak slowly and with intention communicate emotional control. Your body language should also reflect calm. Whether standing or sitting, keep a relaxed but solid posture. Keep your chest open. Keep your shoulders back. Move with control. Small signs of nervousness reveal insecurity. Restless eyes. Fast movements. Forced smiles. These things weaken your image. A calmer expression communicates self-control. Your responses should be simple. direct, confident, and sometimes light. Humor can be very powerful here. A calm and playful response to a small provocation shows that you are not easily shaken. Avoid over-explaining. Avoid unnecessary defense. Every extra word can reduce the image of confidence. Women are naturally drawn to men who stay calm under pressure. Men who handle small challenges with ease. Imagine she makes a joke about your clothes or points out a small mistake. Most men react immediately. They explain. They justify. They apologize. But a light answer, or even a humorous one, shows something stronger. It shows that you do not lose balance easily. And that strengthens attraction. Another common example is texting. If she takes longer to answer, many men become restless. They overthink. They send several messages. They try to fix the situation. This behavior signals neediness. But an emotionally stable man reacts differently. He keeps living his life. He stays focused on his purpose. He answers calmly when the time is right. That attitude communicates confidence. This confidence is deeply connected to human nature. For a very long time, women depended on men who could remain calm under pressure. Reliable men. Men who could face challenges without collapsing emotionally. Emotional instability always suggested risk. A reactive man feels unpredictable. That is why these subtle tests exist. But the goal is not to dominate anyone. The real goal is to develop calm authority. A presence that remains steady even in small moments of tension. A neutral face. A quiet voice. A stable posture. Together, these create a strong feeling of safety and strength. That is why this must be practiced in daily life, not only in romantic situations. Every interaction becomes a chance to build emotional resilience. Over time, this calmness becomes natural. You stop overreacting. And your presence begins to communicate something clear. You are not easily disturbed. At the core of the second truth is something simple. Understand these instinctive tests. Respond in a way that shows confidence, stability, and emotional maturity. These are not games to fear. They are part of how people recognize who can handle life with strength. If you respond with peace, ease, and intention, you communicate something powerful. You control your energy. You are emotionally resilient. You can face challenge with maturity. When you master this, the way women perceive you changes completely. You stop reacting from emotion. You begin to radiate strength naturally. Women notice this instinctively, even when they cannot explain why. Emotional resilience becomes part of your presence. It becomes a silent signal of value. If you show this stability consistently, you stop being just another man. You become someone reliable. Someone magnetic. Someone naturally attractive. Now comes the third truth. Women are drawn to men who keep evolving. Female attraction is influenced by more than looks, words, or momentary emotion. It is also shaped by movement. Women are naturally drawn to men whose lives are moving forward. Men who grow. Men who learn. Men who build something bigger than themselves. From the beginning of an interaction, a woman can often sense whether a man has direction. She can feel whether he has purpose, or whether he is only reacting to the world around him. She can feel whether he is building his life, or waiting for approval. She can feel whether his world has movement, or whether everything depends on her attention. No matter how kind, intelligent, or interesting a man may be, if he shows hesitation, passivity, and lack of direction, his value quickly drops in her eyes. Because deep attraction is not just based on what you already have. It is based on where your life is going. It is based on progress. On momentum. On the energy of becoming more. Women are naturally drawn to men with direction. Men who create. Men who keep growing. It is not about being perfect. It is not about having achieved everything already. What matters is movement. A man who makes decisions. A man who takes responsibility. A man who lives with purpose. Even small steps show that he is building something real. And that communicates something powerful without words. Potential. Strength. Vision. A man who lives this way does not depend on the approval of others. He does not revolve around a woman's attention. He leads his own life. And paradoxically, that increases attraction. When a man is focused on growth, on development, and on building something meaningful, he naturally becomes someone women want to follow. Not because he asks for it, but because direction itself is attractive. In the end, all three truths come together. Silent presence. Emotional calm. Constant growth. A man who develops these three qualities stands apart from the majority. He does not run after attention. He does not seek approval. He remains stable. He observes. He keeps moving forward. And that creates a presence that cannot be ignored. If you understand this deeply, your entire way of interacting changes. You no longer try to control every outcome. You no longer panic over every silence. You no longer over-explain every misunderstanding. You become calmer, more centered, more deliberate. People feel this. Women especially feel this. They feel when a man is grounded in himself. They feel when he is not ruled by insecurity. They feel when his life has direction. They feel when he carries quiet strength. And that is what changes attraction at its root. In the end, this idea goes far beyond attraction. It is really about the kind of person you are becoming. When you learn to control your presence, your emotions, and the direction of your life, you do not only change the way other people see you. You also change the way life responds to you. The first lesson is simple. Learn to control yourself before trying to control any situation. When pressure rises, do not react too quickly. Pause. Breathe. Observe. Then respond with intention. This habit can transform the way you speak, the way you decide, and the way you move forward. A person who controls emotions gains power. A person who reacts to everything loses strength. The second lesson is just as important. Stop chasing validation. Build your value in silence. Many people waste their energy trying to be noticed, approved, or reassured. But real confidence grows when you no longer need constant confirmation from others. Work on your mind. Work on your body. Work on your discipline. Work on your goals. Let your progress speak for you. In any room, the strongest presence is not always the loudest one. Very often, it is the person who does not need to beg for attention. The third lesson is the lesson of movement. Keep moving forward, even in small steps. Your life must have direction. Your energy must have purpose. You do not need to be perfect. But you must not stay stagnant. Read. Learn. Build. Correct your habits. Strengthen your character. Improve the way you think. Every day you make progress, you become stronger and more solid. That is where real